Hi, and welcome to an accessibility breakdown of Arcade Spirits, the upcoming game by Fiction Factory Games. Um, I'm Catriel. I'm actually one of the people involved in this project, though as a accessibility tester, script editor, polishing person, as a disclaimer. That being said, this is the Mac build of a Patreon build for October 2018 of Arcade Spirits. As such, things like controller mapping, unfortunately, I can't test very well on a Mac. That being said, I have tested a controller remap on a PC build earlier. I did use a retro SNES style controller that was USB, and apparently at the time it did not take. However, as Xbox controllers are dealt with on the firmware level, on the operating system level, I do believe that Xbox controllers would be a lot easier should you need a gamepad. However, I have not yet tested them. I will be testing the Xbox controller, and hopefully if I can get a hold of the adaptive controller in October or November. So let's get started. This is the main screen for Arcade Spirits. As you can tell, um, it is navigable using the keyboard once I focus back on it. Start, load, preferences, prizes, about, and quit. Things look fairly reasonable on this. This is a visual novel, and therefore certain things are more normative in this genre, such as keyboard accessibility, more or less being the default, as these games tend to be made assuming using keyboard and mouse. Let's go to preferences. You will now see preferences, um, dis from display mode to styling of the menus, such as the neon effects or the pixel effects. You can also turn these effects off. There is also animated backgrounds. The animation keeps to normative levels, which means they're about, I believe it's under the threshold of 3 times per second is a threshold. You could make it faster if you're not worried about triggering epilepsy or something like that. You could also make it slower, or you can turn it off just to be a static background. You can also skip text, change text speed from here. You can change volume controls, and as you can see, there are separate controls for music, sound, and voice. You can also test to make sure that these levels are to your preferences. Um, Even though we're not used to seeing these as a accessibility feature, they really are. Because either you can be on the autism spectrum and need the voices to be higher or the sound effects to be higher. You can change text speed based on reading. If you're having difficulty or easily distracted or English is not your first language, you can change the text speed around. And some of these are more normative in this genre. So, for example, you can see the text speed might not be an option in some action games. However, they may be an option here, or they may be an option that, while they are not currently in action games, really should be an option. RPGs and visual novels just tend to have more text than others, and therefore text speed and skipping screens or skipping to choices or changing the styling or going ahead on the text screen using the enter keys or action keys tend to be more normative in those spaces. For more information on accessibility features, depending on um, depending on genre, there is a note on the game accessibility guidelines about this very thing. Some things like timers might not apply per se to genres other than fighting games, but there are instances of being aware of the user's time, whether it be enabling a save game to skip ahead or to skip to the next choice. Um, there are some issues with being aware of time and things of that sort. Also, notably, when I was mentioning about the style changes, this game uses a neon effect for borders and menus. It does not actually change the color, it's still that sort of purpley pink color. But for some people, it may be too bright. I myself sometimes have migraines, and sometimes that sort of effect just aggravates it. So you do have the option to change it to a more static or unstyled option. Another neat feature that unfortunately does not come up on this screen, but is available in this game, is self-voicing. So while voiceover might not work directly in this application, you can turn self-voicing on using the V key on a keyboard. And if you use the keyboard, so you can turn self-voicing on or off based on your individual needs. This is a feature that Ren'Py has, and all games based on that scripting engine do have. Unfortunately, in some option menus, you don't necessarily know that you can do that. Also, you can go back to the option screen and preferences during the game. As you can see in a second, I will start up a new game. And it gives you the demo messages saying that it is a demo. But if you look to the side here, you can go to past messages, skip, auto, save, quick load, and preferences while you're actually playing the game. You don't have to set it from the main menu every time. So you could just go right to preferences again if something's not working out for you and change it during the game. I hope this has been a helpful video, and Arcade Spirit should be out, I believe it's second quarter 2019, which means it's actually going to be out on the 2019 calendar first few months. Things look to be on track for that release. For more information, please contact Fiction Factory Games themselves. I will be having further information in the not in the comments, in the summary, in the description, and please look forward to it. Bye.